It's time for fun with watches with your friend, the Watchdog. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. It's time for fun with watches.
Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Islander ISL 302 Hudson Harpoon Diver. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing this Rebirth B005. I just reviewed this watch. If you haven't seen the review yet, be sure to check it out. And Grogo's wearing my Cadola Linden Hill Automatic. I just unboxed this watch. So if you haven't seen the unboxing video yet, be sure to check it out. Grogo said that he has enough backers on Quickstarter to produce the organ watch for his new micro brand Erebus. I said, that's great. What watch are you coming out with next? He said they are going to call it the Descent. I said, because it represents Anakin Skywalker's descent into the dark side? He said, no, because it's a Descent watch for the money. All right, let's take a look at the watch. It comes in this typical Islander box. They all come in this box. It's fairly simple. It reminds me a lot like the Invicta box that Invicta seem to come in now. At least when you order them through the mail. And here is the watch. Let's get the hands in a more pleasant position. Because I had this watch set to local time and it's early in the morning. And this is a Sunday. So here you go. Not a bad looking watch. It's a lot of fun. This is a fun watch. Another Islander on my channel. Islander is the in-house micro brand of Island Watch, which started out making homage watches and now also makes original designs such as this Hudson Harpoon Diver. This watch is on loan from Island Watch for review purposes and must be returned after review, so this is not a sponsored video. This watch is currently selling for $549 at the time of this review, which is on the higher end of the Islander scale, but understandable considering what you're getting, especially the much more expensive 4Hz Miyota 9015 instead of the typical 3Hz Seiko NH35. This watch is an unofficial celebration of the 50th anniversary of the movie Jaws, which started the Hollywood summer blockbuster trend. If you want an official version, you could spend $800 on a Seiko, which is a turtle with an ocean dial and the word Jaws on the dial. Since you cannot trademark shark, this watch has all kinds of nods to sharks as the minute hand resembles the tip of a harpoon. The counterbalance is in the shape of a swimming shark. The markers resemble boats, plus there is a shark on the redesigned caseback. This watch comes in 3 different colorways. I chose the black for a change, which is rare for me, but I just preferred it to the other 2 colorways as I really like how the black degrades to gray on the dial. If you do prefer blue, as I usually do, there is the ISL 303, which has a blue bezel and degrading dial. If you prefer green, there is the ISL 305, and one big difference is the hands and markers have black borders instead of the metallic of the other 2. They must have skipped the ISL 304. This watch is not huge. It's 40 millimeters at the case, but 38.6 if you measure at the bezel, and the bezel is kind of a focus point. It's 46.2 millimeters lug to lug, and the end links are flush with the lugs. It's 13.5 millimeters thick, but that includes this dome box crystal, so it's not that thick considering. And it has a 20 millimeter lug width, and it tapers down to 18 at the buckle. And it weighs 156 grams on the supply steel bracelet with 4 links removed. The bezel is 120 click unidirectional, and it has a sapphire insert. Action's kind of stiff, and it's kind of difficult to get a grip on it because it is smaller than the case. So you will not knock it out of place, which is one good thing, but I wish the action was just a hair lighter, just because, like I said, it's hard to get a grip. If the bezel was actually bigger than the case, then this stiffness wouldn't be an issue. And the bezel is fully lumed. You'll see it later on in the lume test. And let me zoom it in a little. If you look at the home triangle, it resembles a shark fin. So a little bit more shark theming there. Then we have the dial. We have this pattern on the chapter ring, and then we have the minute markers. And then we have the indices. I mistakenly said they were supposed to look like shark fins, but no, they're supposed to look like boats. So they're boats going away from the shark. And then it says Islander up top, and then we have the Islander logo. Most Islanders only have the logo, so it's rare to see the Islander name up top. Then it says automatic 200 meters, 656 feet. They didn't go with 666. That seems to be Bulova's thing. And then we have a dated to 6, and it's cut out into the index, and it's color matched. But unfortunately, though, the window is really small, and I've had alignment issues with the date. Sometimes it just doesn't line up correctly, and it's kind of hard to read. So I wish the date window was just a bit bigger. And then we have the hands. The minute hand is supposed to look like a harpoon. And the hour hand is supposed to be when they line up, it makes it one big harpoon. Let me line them up. See, it's one big harpoon now. And then we have the second hand, and we have a tip here that's colored, and then we have the shark counterbalance. Then also, when you look at the dial, let me zoom it in. If you tilt it at a certain angle, you can see the pattern, and it's a bunch of shark mouths. And it's kind of hard to see on my camera, but just to let you know, it's the same pattern on the clasp here. See how you see the little shark heads with the mouths? You get the same pattern on the dial, and this inner dial is loomed. Then we have a signed screw down crown, and this crown is also loomed. You'll see later in the loom test. And we have some serious crown guards here that almost go all the way to the edge of the crown, but they're not in the way, so you can still unwind it just fine and screw it back down with a little effort. So the crown guards don't get in the way, and they do protect the crown, so that's nice. Then we have the crystal. The crystal is a box sapphire, domed. And I think it's double dome because you don't see a lot of distortion except for at the very edges. And there is AR coating. You can kind of see that blue tint. And it does a good job of not reflecting the light. I have to hit my overhead light here head on before you really see any reflection. So the crystal is great. And then we have the case. The case is solid stainless steel, and it has a nice finish to it. It's polished on the sides, brushed on the tops, and it does have a chamfered edge. And the lugs do slope down a little bit, so it helps the wash wear a little bit flatter than it should. So happy with the case, and the case is fairly compact for a 40mm case. Then we have the case back. The case back is a fun design. It looks a lot like the typical Islander case back, except for they turned the lighthouse into a buoy and added this shark jumping out. And right here it says "Help Shark," and that's kind of a play on the billboard in the movie Jaws. So that's nice. I think the case back's fun. Plus it's not too thick, so it doesn't add too much thickness to the watch. It says stainless steel right there because the watch is stainless steel. And let me zoom it in so you can read it a little bit better. Then it says sapphire crystal, 200 meters, and then gives you the movement, the 9015. Because yes, underneath the case back is the Miyota 9015 movement. This is a 4-horse movement with 25 joules. It hand winds, hacks, and has a unidirectional rotor. So you will hear rotor noise when it spins freely in the other direction. That never bothers me. It does bother some people. I don't know why Miyota doesn't try to do a bi-directional rotor, but they just don't. So that's fine. But the 9015 is a big step up from the 8215. The 9000 series is a really nice series of movements, and it's designed to compete with movements such as the Salida SW200. And since it's 4 hertz, it ticks 8 times a second. That's why you see this really smooth sweep of the second hand, and this one doesn't stutter like the 8215, so it is a big step up. So happy with the movement. So let's go ahead and put it on the time grapher and see how it's doing. Here it is on the time grapher, and as you can see, this one's running spot on. We're at 0, 0, and 0. We have a little bit of beat error though, 0.3 milliseconds. And that's why you see 2 lines on the screen. It'd be nice if there was less beat error. Then it looks like our timing jumped up to 4 seconds fast, but then it went back down to 0. So 0 seems to be what it's at. I have the lift angle set to 51 degrees, which is proper for 9015. And so the amplitude's 284 degrees, which is healthy enough. So yeah, this one's running spot on. Very happy with it. The bracelet's fairly unique. We do have end links, but it's mesh up top, but links on the bottom. And we do have quick release, so that's nice. So you can change it easy enough. And this way though, you get the looks of mesh, but you get the convenience of sizing links rather than a mesh clasp. And then you can also have a better clasp like this, a Sign Islander. And as I showed you earlier, let me zoom in again. We got little shark heads with their mouths open. So that's a fun pattern. And it doesn't appear to be scratched up, even though I've been wearing a lot of this week. So that's good, because the clasp is the thing that scratches the most, it seems like. And it does have on-the-fly adjustment, and it works really good. I've had on the fly before that were very difficult to use, but no, this one's easy peasy. So like that. And this is a fully milled clasp, see? So the clasp is excellent. And once again, we have these sizing links, and they're screw pins, not push pins. And like I always say, I prefer push pins, but I've had no difficulty with these screw pins. The heads are nice and big. Plus it came with a screwdriver. So sizing this was fairly easy. So really happy with the bracelet. It's a lot of fun. Here's the watch on my 7.5 inch wrist. That looks nice. It wears nice. Once again, it sits nice and flat because of the legs curving down, and the case back's fairly small. I removed 4 links. So I'm going to go ahead and give this the Joe Haynes seal of approval. And I probably could have removed one more because it's just a little loose, but it's been cold here lately. So I think my wrist has shrunk just a little when I initially sized it. And somebody asked if the crown digs into your wrist, and no, it really doesn't. I mean, I'm wearing it fairly high, but I don't feel any digging. So really happy with the wearability. And if you want to go full mesh, here it is on a full mesh bracelet. This is one I bought for my No Time to Die Pagani homage. So it actually has a clasp. And if you prefer your watches on leather, here it is on a black rally strap. So I think that looks great too. And if you like your leather a little bit fancier, here it is on a Vario Italian leather strap. So I think that looks pretty good. And if you like your leather a little bit more vintage, here it is on a vintage leather strap. Gives it a little bit more rustic look. And here it is on a Pagani Design Bond double pass. So it's not that chunky wearing it on a double pass. That looks nice. And And since I put spring bars on it, I might as well show it to you on another double pass. This one came with that Cadison that kind of looks like a moon swatch. So that looks nice also. Here we are in the Lume room. This watch has all kinds of lume, as it has a fully lume bezel and a lume dial. You even get a lume date. As we see at the time, we see a nice green glow for the bezel, hands, and markers, and a blue glow for the gradient inner dial. Unfortunately, the bezel fades rather quickly, including the home position, which should be stronger than everything else. The hands aren't much better and are only viewable due to the negation of the lumed inner dial. There's also a shadow on the inner dial from the minute hand's initial position. Too bad the hands and bezel home position weren't as good as the strong indices. As kind of a fun bonus, even the crown is lumed with the Islander logo. You really don't need to be able to see it in the dark, but since it is lumed, I might as well show it to you. What do I like about this watch? It looks and wears nice. It has a Miyota 9015 that's running spot on. And it has a lume color matched date wheel at the 6. It has a quick release bracelet with on the fly adjustable clasp. It has a fun shark theme, and I really like this gradient dial. What are my gripes and groans? The hand lume and the bezel lume should be as strong as the markers. The bezel is stiff and hard to get a grip. And this date window is kind of small, and sometimes the date doesn't line up with the window, and it makes it hard to read double-digit dates. Do I recommend this watch? Of course. This is an awesome-looking tribute to an awesome movie that is so much better than the official version. Yes, $549 is quite a bit of money for an Islander, but you are getting quite a bit of watch. And most important, this watch is fun. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Islander ISL 302, and I'll be back with another review. I don't think I have any unboxings for a while. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel. And if you like this watch, I'll leave a link to Island Watch, and I do not have an affiliate link with them, but if you buy it from them, be sure to tell them you saw it on Fun with Watches, and maybe Mark will still keep sending me watches. And I'd like to thank Island Watch for loaning me this watch. Island Watch is one of the few micro brands that actually supports this channel by loaning me watches. And I'd like to thank my Members Choice members. I put the Members Choice watch up for sale, and it hasn't sold yet. As soon as it sells, I will put 4 more watches up for a vote. So if you're not a member yet, be sure to join, and you can participate in the upcoming vote. Bye.